Hello student. Today in this lesson I will try to explain some topics from Lab 3 that we didn't discuss it during the last recording. The topics that I'm going to explain today is about sending the user to a new page and using application events, web controls, the default button and default focus, control prefixes and list controls, and of course we will take some examples by using Visual Studio to explain these topics. Now let us talk about the first topic here, sending the user to a new page. As you remember, with the currency converter web application and e-greeting maker application that we developed last time, so everything took place in a single page, and as you know, in typical website the user will need to surf from one page to another to perform different tasks or complete a single operation. So in Visual Studio actually, or ASP.NET, there are several ways, as we can find here, to transfer a user from one page to another. One of the simplest is to use ordinary anchor element, or what we call it hyperlink tag, which turn a portion of text into a hyperlink. As we can find here in this example, the word here is linked to another page, and the another page is a new page.aspx. So this is one of the way if we want to transfer the user from one page to another by using anchor element. Another option is to send the user to a new page by using code, and by using this method, redirect, response.redirect, and then we can write the name of the page in of course with this method. For sure, by using the hyperlink and the response.redirect, you can even send the user to another website by using the absolute URL, as we can find here in this example. So let us now take an example together. We will create in Visual Studio, create a new website. So here we can find the Visual Studio. I will go to the file menu as we did usually to create a new website. Now the language for sure is Visual C#, and the template is ASP.NET empty website. So I'm going only to change the name of the website that we will create. So I will call it Test Web Controls. Then I click OK button. So now here the website is created, which is empty website. I will add two pages into this website. I will go to the website menu, select add a new item. So here in the add a new item window, I will select Visual C# web form. Now I will change the name of the first page that we will add to the website to page, let us say 1.aspx. Then I click add. Now page 1 is already added, and we can find here the C# file is already created. I will add another web form into the website. I will go again to the website menu, add a new item, web form. Then I will change the name of this web form to new page.aspx. Then I click add. So now I have two pages here in this web application, page 1 and a new page. So let us create hyperlink by using the anchor element to transfer the user from page 1 to a new page. So here on the design mode, I will change from design to source, and here inside the div I will create the hyperlink. So I will type here click, then I create hyperlink A using the attribute href equal. And then of course now which page I want to transfer the user to, which is a new page. So I will select a new page.aspx. Now here in between the open tag and the close tag of the anchor element, I will write here. So this text will become as a hyperlink. Then if the user click on here word, it will be transferred to the new page. So click here, for example, to go to new page.aspx. Okay, let us save our work, then run the page. Okay, always if we get this message, just we click OK button. So here we go. Here we have our page that we designed just now. It has only a text line, but the word here in this text line is a link. Now when I click on this link here, as you can find here, if you check the URL address, we are now on new page.aspx. So we transfer it successfully to the new page by using a hyperlink. Now let us take another example. Okay, so I will now switch to the design window or design mode. Then after the text line, I will press enter 2 times. Now I'm going to use C# code to transfer the user from page 1 to new page. So I will add button into the web form. I'm going to change the ID of the button to the CMD OK, or let us call it, sorry, next page, CMD next page, and the text that will be displayed on the button to be text next page. Okay, now I will double click on the button to write the C# code. Now here in the C# code I will write response dot redirect. Now between 2 double quotation I will write the name of the page that I want to send the user to. So I will write new page.aspx. Of course I have to write the name of the page with the extension aspx. So let us save our work. Then we will run the page. So as we can find here we have the hyperlink that we created before, and now I have a button. So now when I click on the button next page, so again here we can find, in if we check the URL address, so we have been transferred to the new page.aspx. So what we have of course use it is how to transfer the user to a new page. So this is one of the topics that I wanted to talk about, and of course we can add one more link if we want to open a new website. So for example here after this button I can create a hyperlink, or we may use C# code. So let us create hyperlink. Now I will switch to the source window. So after the button I will say for example here I create hyperlink a href equal, then I will use http :// for www. For example google.com. Now for example the text that will be displayed, visit Google. Okay, now let us back to the design mode. Now here we have a link for visit Google. If I save my work then run the page, so we can find here a click here that will transfer the user to the new page, to page belong to the same website. Next page again will transfer to the new page that belong to the same website, but visit Google will transfer the user to the Google website. As we can find here now Google is displayed on the browser. So this is everything about this, how to send the user to a new page. We have as we said here, there are several ways to transfer the user from one page to another, but we have discussed 2 ways: by using HTML code or by using C# code using the method response.redirect. Okay, now we will move to the next topic that is talking about using application events. So, as you have seen how ASP.NET controls fire events that you can handle in your code, like for example, when you click a button, a code, it will be executed. So, although server control are the most common source of events, there is another type of event that you will occasionally actually encounter, which is called the application events. Now, as we can find here in this slide, application events are not nearly as important in an ASP.NET application as the event fired by the server control, like a button, text box, or drop-down list, but you might use them to perform additional processing tasks, as we will see in the example that we will create with Visual Studio. Now, you have to understand that you cannot handle application event in the code behind for a web form. We cannot write application event by using the waveform that we add into the website. Instead, you need to help the help of another ingredient, which is the file that we call it global.asax, or global application class, that we will learn how to add it into the website. Now, as we can find here in the next slide, that will show you how to add a global file into the website. Now, the first thing that we need to understand, the global ASAX file allows you to write code that respond to global application events, and we have several application events that we can use. Now, how to add the global application or the global file into the web application? So again, we have to go to the website menu and we select add a new item. Then we have to select the global application class file, and then we can click add. Now, before we work on Visual Studio, that we have to understand that this global ASAX file cannot contain any HTML or ASP.NET tags. Instead, it contains event handler that respond to application events. So let us see how to add a global file into the website. That of course we will use it to write application events. So let us back to our application that we created just now, which is Test Web Controls. Now we have to go to the website menu and we select add a new item. Then from this list we have to find the global application class, and there is no need to change the name the name of the global application class. Then I click add button. Now, as we can find here, the global application, the global.asax file has already added into the website. Here we can find it in the Solution Explorer. And if you open the global ASX file, you can find all the application or most of the application events already declared here. Just you need to write code with the application event. So we can find here different of application events already created, like application start, application end, application error, session start or session end. Anyway, so we will use one of the application events that of course that will happen just before the page is sent to the user is called end request, but unfortunately is not declared here in this global file. So what I'm going to do, I will copy one of these application events, then I will paste it at the end of the file. So I will change the name of the application event from application start to application end request. Now, for example, I want, as I said, this event, it will happen just before the page is sent to the user, before the page is displayed to the user. Because of that, for example, at the bottom of the page, at the bottom of each page in my website, I want, for example, I want to display my name. So what I'm going to write here in this method, I will write, for example, response dot write. Of course, this method will be used to print on the on the document, to write the string or text on the document. So what I'm going to write on the document at the bottom of the actually of each page in my website, I will, at the beginning I will add horizontal line. I will use HR. Then after the horizontal line, for example, I want to display my name. That's it. Now, just before the page to be displayed to the user, okay, the code that we wrote here inside the end request, it will be executed, and then we'll add at the bottom of the page horizontal line and display my name. So let us save this file, and of course we cannot run it, we have to run page 1. So we can find here the page that we designed just now, and at the bottom of the page horizontal rule is there and my name is there. And look at the next page. Now when I click on the next page, again now the horizontal rule will be displayed on the page, and also my name. So with every page, at the bottom of each page, and of course this here the footer will be is displayed on the top of the page because the page is blank, doesn't have any contents. But if there is a content, it will be displayed at the bottom of the page. Anyway, so before, as we said, before the page to be displayed to the user, the code inside the application event that is called end request, it will be executed and then render it to the user. Now let us change the code in the ASPX file. So instead of displaying my name, I need to display, for example, the current date and time of the request that I will generate. So for example, I will say here the page was served at, then I will display the current date and time by using the class datetime dot now, and I need to change or convert or cast, as we call it, to the date and time to string by using the method toString. So let us check that what will happen now when I run page 1. So I will display the date and time, of course, when the page was served. Now when I click, now look at the time here, 3:20:59. Now when I click next page, now the time is already changed because the current time, it will be displayed at the footer of the page. So it's very is one of the important of course events that we need to understand, and we need to read about it more to know about most of the application events that we can use. As we can find here in this table, we have different application events like application start, application end, application begin request, and just now here we use application end request, session start, session end, and application error. So I request from you to try to read more about the application event and try to find more examples and exercises about the application events, which is one of the interesting topics in ASP.NET. Now let us move to the next topic, that is of course is talking about the web controls. Now if you remember, with the currency converter we have used HTML server controls, but now with this lesson we will talk about the web controls. In the next slide I tried to put a table that will show you the basic web controls classes and web controls that we can find in the toolbox at the left side of the Visual Studio. So here we can find a list of web controls that we can use. Now of course, when we have developed the e-card generator, we have used different of course different types of web controls, like the drop down list, the radio button list, we have used the check box, we have used the text box button. So we try to understand how to use these web controls. Now one of the topics that I need to talk about it today about the web controls is how to define a default button and how to define a default focus. Now If we need to talk about the default button, as you can find here in this slide, is the button that is clicked when the user presses the enter key. So we need to define which button in my web application, in my web form, is the default button that when I press the key it will be clicked, and the code in that button it will be executed. Now, for example, in our page 1, if I run it on the browser, and here I have a button, but it's not default button. Because of that, when I press enter, nothing will happen. Now I want to define this button, next page, as a default button. Then when I press enter on the keyboard, it will be clicked and execute the code that we have it in this button that will transfer the user to a new page. Now, how to do that? We have to switch to the source window. So here we have a tag is called the form tag. Here inside the form tag, after the run at the server attribute, I will add default button. Then I will say equal, and between double quotation I have to put the name of the button. Now if I back to the design mode and I click on the select the button, as we can find here, the ID of the button is command next page. So this is what I'm going to write here with the attribute default button as a value for the attribute default button. So I will write cmd next page. Now I have defined this button next page. It will be the default button. Then when I press enter, it will be clicked and execute the code that will transfer the user to a new page. So let us save our work and run page 1. I will close the previous page, run it on the browser. Now look here, when I press enter, look at the mouse. I will not use the mouse. I will press enter on the keyboard. Now the user is transferred to a new page. That means the next page button is clicked and then transferred the user to a new page, as we can find here. So this is how to define a default button. One more thing we have it here is a default focus, then that you can use it to set a control that should always be focused by setting a default focus property of the form tag. Now let me show you an example about how to use the default focus. So let me switch back to the design mode. I will remove this link about visiting Google. So I will write here, for example, first name. Then I will add the text box. I will change the ID of the text box to be txt first name. Then below I will add another text box, or before that I will write last name. Then I will add another text box and I will change the ID to the txt last name. Now let me save the page and run it. Now when we look at the page, there is no focus in these text boxes added into the page. So for example, I want to set the focus in the text on the first name text box, so the user will understand he has to write something here, or the first name here, then move to the next text box. So now how to set the text, the first name text box that we call it text first name as a default focus. So again I will switch to the source code, and here inside the form tag after the default button I will use another attribute that is called default focus equal, and between double quotation I will write the name of the text box that I want to set it as a focused text box. So I will use the name, which is, or the ID text first name. Okay, so I will save my work, run the page again, look at the focus or the cursor is it automatically will be blinking inside the first name text box. Now if I change it the value here for the default focus from first name to last name and saved my page and then run it with the browser, so look, now the focus is in the last name of course text box. So it depends on the of course the text box that will be defined in the default focus inside the form tag. So this is about how to define the default button and the default focus for the application that you are developing with ASP.NET. Now the next topic, which is very important, about the control prefixes. So here we can find then when working with web control, it's often useful to use a 3-letter lowercase prefix to identify the type of control. Now if you have noticed that when we design the currency converter web application and the e-greeting card generator, I always, when I name or change the ID of any web control I use with the web form, I start with the 3 lower case prefixes to identify the web control. So this is really recommended to be used when you give name or give ID for the web control that you add into the web form, to make your code of course readable and easily access to the web controls that you of course use it with your web application. Now for example, here we can find some recommended control prefixes. So for the button, it's recommended to use CMD or BTN. So here we call it command or button. For the checkbox we use CHK. For the image we use IMG. For the label we use LBL. So for the any list control, like a drop down list, we have radio button list, we have checkbox list, we use LST. For the panel we use PNL. For the radio button we use option or OPT, and for the text box we use TXT. So it's really recommended, and I always advise you, if you want to change the ID of any web control, to start with the prefixes, which is the 3-letter lowercase prefix, before you give name to the ID. Then very easy, you can access to any web control when you write C# code. So this is what we are going to depend on, and as you can find in my previous recording and this recording and the next recording, I always use these prefixes when I want to give ID to any web control in my design. Now one of the most important or one of the important actually list or web control that we always use when we develop a web application is the list controls. And we have different types of list controls, like we have list box, we have a drop down list that we have used already with the e-card generator. Checkbox list we will use today with a page that we will design together. Radio button list, we have already used it with the e-card generator, if you remember, with the border style. Bullet list also will take example about it today. Now all of these list controls listed here, they are all working essentially the same way, but are rendered differently in the browser. As you know, the checkbox is look like a square, the drop down list is a menu, the radio button is a circle button that we can use it to select one of the items in the list. Now we will use checkbox list. So we will talk about how to define or how to deal with multi-select list control. So we will design this page, and then I will show you how to write code in C# to check which checkbox or which item is selected in this list. So let us back to the Visual Studio, and I will open a new page, which is empty web form. So I will do the design here in this web form. Now the first thing that we will do, we will write a text line at the top of the page. Choose your favorite programming language. Then I press enter 2 times, and I will add checkbox lists. As we can find here in the toolbox, we have checkbox and we have checkbox list. I will use checkbox list. So by using edit items command here, I will add items into the checkbox list. I will click on the add button. The first item is C language. Then I click add. I will write the second language C++, then press enter. Click add. Then the third language is C#, then press enter. The next one is Visual Basic 6.0. Then we have VB.NET, and the last programming language is Pascal. So here we have a list of programming language in this checkbox list that will be allowed to the user to select more than one programming language from this list. Then after finished adding if you want, you can add more language. Then for me it's okay, I'm satisfied with these languages. Then I click OK. Now here we have the list of the programming language. Just I need to change the ID of the checkbox list. Instead of using checkbox list 1, I will use CHK. This is the prefixes, the prefix, because it's a checkbox list, and LST, so checklist. Okay, so after I press enter, after the checkbox list, I will add a button. I will change the ID for the button. Because it's a button, I will use CMD or BTN. So CMD, OK. And the text property also, I will change it from button to OK. Now I press enter 2 times after the button, and I will add label. I will change the ID for the label. Because it's label, the prefix will be LBL, and I will call it result. I don't want to display the label text when I run the page, so I will delete label from the text property. So now if I save my work and run page 1, so here we have page 1. When I click next page, so this is the design, but now okay, I can select from the checkbox list, but when I click OK, nothing will be displayed on the web form. So what I'm going to do, I will double click on the OK button. Then I write code, of course, to display the selected programming language on the page. So the code that I'm going to write, I will declare a variable. I will say sorry. Okay, I will display the message. So here the label name is LBL result.text. The first thing that will be displayed on the label, you chose. Okay. Okay, so this is what will be displayed, you chose. Then in the next line, I want to display the result in bold text. Because of that, I'm going to use bold tag. So this is the first thing that will be displayed when I click on the OK button. Now I'm going to create a loop to check all the items in the list, and also to check which item has been selected to be displayed on the label. So I'm going to use for each. I will create a list item to check all the items. I will call it list item. In the name of the checklist, the ID is, if you remember, checklist dot of course I want to check the item for each item in this checklist. Now I need to use if statement to check which item has been selected. So I will say if the item or list item dot selected is true or equal to true, then we need to display the selected programming language on the label. Because of that, I will say label result dot text. So I will add this result to the first message that will be displayed you chose. So I will say plus equal. I will add, so I want the programming language to display in the new line. Because of that, I will add the tag BR, which is a new line, plus the name or the text of the selected programming item. Because of that, I will say list item dot text. So the value selected from the checkbox list, it will be displayed on the label. Any of course programming language, it will be displayed on the label. Now this is after. So this is the loop that I can use it to check all the items in the checkbox list, and of course I use the if statement to check which item has been selected. If it's a true selected, then it will be displayed on the label. So after the loop, I have, because I open it bold tag to display the programming language in bold text, so I have to close the bold tag. Because of that, I will say label result dot text plus equal, then between two double quotation I will close the bold tag. For sure, if I didn't use bold tag, no need for this line to be of course use it. Now let us save our work. Click page 1 or run page 1. So when I click on the next page, here we have the page that we designed just now by using the checkbox list. Now I will select C, C#, and Pascal. So look, now when I click on the OK button, you chose C, C#, and Pascal. If I change my selection, then I click OK button, it will be, of course, it will display different result. So this is how to write C# code, as we have seen just now, to of course do multiple selection from the checkbox list. Now one more list control we will talk about it, which is the bullet list control. So let us do example about how to use this list. Okay, so I will back to Visual Studio. Now I will close all of these pages that I have it here, and I will add a new page into the website. Add a new website, add a new item. I will call it, for example, page 2.aspx. Now, what I'm going to do, okay, now I'm going to create an ordered list for the it looks like linked button to allow the user to access to the page 1 and the new page from page 2. So I will add, as you can find here in the tool on the toolbox, bulleted list. So I will add it into the page. Now I will add items into the page. I will add 2 items. The first one is page 1, and the second item is a new page. New page, which is the name of the second page. So only 2 items I will add into the ordered, or what we call it, an ordered list, or bulleted list as we call it here. I can of course resize it if I resize the bulleted list if I want. Now okay, this is the idea of the bulleted list, is bulleted list 1. I will not change it. So I need to write now code or C# code to check which or before that, sorry, I need to change a property here for the bulleted list. It's called display mode, and as we can find here, we have here three options. We have text if you want to display only the bulleted list as a text, or if you want to display it as a hyperlink or link button. Now for me, I will select link button. As you can find here, it will be displayed with the blue color and underlined. Then I can click on one of these bulleted list to of course to be transferred to page 1 or a new page. Now I will double click on the page on the bulleted list. So here we can write the code to check which item has been clicked or selected by the user. So I will declare a variable by using string as a string variable. I will call it selected item. Now I want to get the selected value from the bulleted list, so I will use bulleted list 1, which is the ID of the bulleted list. I didn't change it. Dot items by using the index e dot index, sorry, e dot index dot text. So what the user will be selected, if selected page 1, it will be saved in the variable selected item. If the user clicked on the new page, then new page text, it will be saved in the selected item. So look now what I'm going to do after that to check what value or what item has been selected by the user. I will use if statement. I will say if the selected item is equal page 1, that's mean the user clicked on the page 1. So what I'm going to do, I will redirect the user. I will use response dot redirect to which page? For sure for the page 1, which is called page 1.aspx. Else, if the user did not click on the page 1, that's mean he has selected a new page. So directly I will redirect the user by using response dot redirect for which page? For of course the new page dot aspx. So let us check that. Now I will save my work, then I will run okay, page 2. Now look here in page 2. As you can find here, even with page 2, the footer has been displayed because it's still available in the global file. Now when I click on a new page, so here a new page, it will be displayed to the user. If I click on page 1, so the page 1, it will be displayed to the user. So by using the bullet list, I can create like a navigation menu, a navigation bar that I can transfer the user from one page to another. So it's very simple to create a bulleted list. As we have seen, the bulleted list is here on the toolbox. I can add items in the bulleted list. Then I can just double click on the bullet list and write the C# code to check which item has been selected. Then I write the proper code for the design. Now we have seen the property that we have changed is the display mode. Now the items of the bulleted list, if you want it to be displayed as a text, normal text, as a hyperlink or link button, so we have used link button. Now one more thing, if you want to change the bullet style, now here we are using disk style, so we can use numbered, as you can find here. So here we have different options. We can use lower alpha, upper alpha. So look at the result here on the page, or you can use, for example, square instead of disk if you want, or you can use custom image if you want to display image here instead of using the bullet style available by or offered by Visual Studio. So I will back or you can select no set. So this is the default character it will be, or bullet style will be displayed, which is the disk. So you can change the bullet style from the bullet style property, as we can find here, and there is one more property which is important with the bullet list, which is the display mode. So this is everything about the lesson of today. I have discussed to you these important topics in Lab 3 as we discussed it today, and of course at the end of the lab we have to write code for the ECAD generator, and we have done that with the previous recording. Thank you so much for your listening, and I hope it will be useful to all of you. Have a nice day.